President Trump's former chief economic advisor says the trade war with China is having negative effects on the U.S. economy. Gary Cohn resigned from the Trump administration in March of last year, shortly after President Trump placed import tariffs on steel and aluminum. Cohn spoke with BBC News about the impact of the ongoing trade war.
I don't really think it's hitting the Chinese economy. I think the Chinese economy is driven by credit and credit availability. Credit and credit availability is determined by the central government. The central government owns the credit availability mechanism and network in China, and they can turn credit on and they can turn credit off. I think the trade war with the United States was a very convenient excuse for the Chinese to slow down their economy when they needed to slow down an overheated economy where prices and real estate prices and everything were getting out of hand. And I think President Trump provided that excuse for the Chinese. So I think the Chinese economy was going to slow down with or without a trade war.
But in the US, it's having a real impact already, isn't it? I mean, if you are a farmer growing soybeans in North Dakota and you're trying to export them to China, life has got tough for you.
In the farming community, it's having a dramatic impact. In the capital investment part of the U.S. economy, it's having a dramatic impact. In the service side of the economy, it's not having nearly as big as an impact because tariffs don't affect it. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a very interesting bifurcation in the United States economy. Those things that are manufactured and consumed here in the United States, those things that are imported, and those things that take a long term to build. And they're sort of being divided. So, you take the automobile industry in the United States. It's suffering. It's suffering because tariffs are hurting that industry. But people are spending a lot of money by going out and eating, and a lot of the restaurants in the United States are doing very well because we grow our own food and we don't have to import the food. And really the biggest cost in the restaurant industry is labor. And so we have labor here in the United States, so people are willing to go out and spend that money.
I want to ask you about Brexit as well. It looks increasingly likely that Britain will go out of the European Union without a deal, hard Brexit. What do you make of that?
What do I think about that? I think that any forward progress at this point is good. This is another one of those economic, geopolitical situations that has to be solved. And if it's hard, soft, it has to be solved. And what tends to happen is countries are more resilient than people think.
So Britain shouldn't be frightened of a no-deal Brexit?
Look, it's better than where you are now. You talk about the United States being stymied in capital investment. The only place that makes the United States look like we have a lot of capital investment is the UK, because literally you have no capital investment going on right now.
I want to talk about one other issue, which is something where you clashed with the president when the demonstrations happened in Charlottesville. We've seen race re-emerge with him telling 4 congresswomen from minority backgrounds from abroad, telling them that they should go back to where they came from. You've seen chants of, send her back. What do you make of it?
What I make of it is I think that we in the United States have to get back to governing. And I really think we're distracted by the wrong issues. As you sit here and you watch the Mueller investigation or you watch these other issues, this is not what the American citizens care about. The American citizens care about a Congress that works, a Congress that legislates, a Congress that thinks about what they need is everyday American citizens. And I think all of these other things are a pure distraction.
Is Donald Trump a racist?
I've answered the question telling you people want the government to govern. Donald Trump is Donald Trump. What you see is what you get. The one thing I can tell you about Donald Trump is what you see is what you get.